Hello again and welcome back to Average Gamer Plays Factorio. I've done a little bit of reorganising and tidying up off camera. I've reorganised this. It was a complete mess of belts and whatever beforehand. It probably still is, but I think it's a little bit neater and tidier. So I'm going to stick with this for the time being. I can still tweak it and change it around. I mean, a lot of this stuff down here is going to come back out again. I've put these chests over here to store these items so that when I dismantle this mini mall and rebuild another mall over on the other side, I've still got a few items to play with. I'm not going to lose out on anything or have to go back to handcrafting. So I've tidied that up a little bit. The other thing that I've done is I've just started building a little bit more of this steel smelting array. I only had one set of smelters or whatever in there last time. I've built four more pairs rather. So that's where we're up to at the moment. I've rerouted the stone and the coal. I think I've redesigned some of this area down here. Look, I'm already starting to run out of miners down here. They're getting mined out. So that patch is getting smaller, as is the stone patch. I've set a filter on this splitter over here so that we input from the right hand side first. Still seems to be inputting from over here quite a bit, doesn't it? But that should start clearing from these miners first before the other ones, but we'll see. It'll all get used up eventually. So the next things on the list, or the next things I need to do, I need to set up some oil refining. So I've got red circuits, advanced circuits they're called, and I need to set up this proper mall. Now I've done some thinking about the mall. I've done some preparation for it in between the episodes, in that I have created basically just a list on a spreadsheet of the common ingredients and which items use them, so I know how many items use gears and how many items use iron plates and how many items use electronic circuits and so on, and I can use that to plan in my head sort of where the items, how the assemblers need to be laid out on the mall, because sometimes, you know, as we've seen here, you can make belts and they're needed by these two items, and what I'm going to do when I make the mall is that the belts is going to be in the middle, and then I'm just going to have inserters directly inserting from the middle assembler making the belts into the outside assemblers making the undergrounds and splitters, like I've done over here, where I've got the this machine making yellow inserters and it directly feeds into this machine making the red inserters, as well as feeding out into a storage chest. So this is the plan of action for now. I'm going to walk over. I'm going to start making them all. I said I was going to make it a little bit further over this side, wasn't I? So let's grab probably don't need all those belts, but whatever. Grab a handful of other items. Definitely going to need lots of inserters. Now I can make medium electric poles. I'm going to start using these instead of big electric poles. So copper plate, steel plate and iron stick. Iron stick is just made from iron plate. So as long as I've got, and I'll handcraft these for the time being. I'll put an assembler on there for in the mall, but let's pick a bunch of iron plate. I can make 95 medium electric poles. That'll probably be plenty for the time being. Let's have 30 of those to be going on with. Right, let's put assembly machines down there. I've got belts. Let's put some of these poles down there as well. Belts, inserters, assemblers, long-handed inserters. I haven't got any of those. I'm going to need some. This is why I love the long reach. Don't need all of those. Let's just put some back. Well, I love the long reach mod because I don't have to be all the way over there. So let's make this. Now ultimately, the actual design of the mall doesn't really matter as long as it works, because eventually you're going to be using logistics robots to bring stuff to you. So it doesn't have to be set out in the most space efficient manner or the most item efficient manner either, because it just sits there and works in the background. So as long as it's making stuff all the time, by the time you head to it to pick stuff up, it's there. The chests are sort of full of what you need. And it's actually quite important to limit the chests, as we did here with the output from these mini malls, of just sort of limiting things to a couple of stacks. Otherwise they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So the idea is that we will actually have these chests placed one block apart, so we can use a long-handed inserter to pass items between them. But it also means that we can run a belt of items between them, and we'll have a couple of belts of ingredients at the top and bottom. So this is going to be the basic sort of structure of the mall. So we're going to have let's say, for example, that makes transport belts, and that makes inserters, and that makes splitters. And we will get... So these medium poles have a bigger coverage range than the wooden poles. So you don't need as many of them, which is what I liked about them at the moment, because they, if you design and build this mall, if you design and build the mall with just the wooden poles, you find that there's too many of them. They get all over the place. And then the idea is that we can use splitters and bring the items down from the middle. So this needs iron plate and iron gear wheel. Now I'm going to have gears onto these belts. And this is very similar to the design of the mall used by Catherine of Sky, because I've actually sort of copied and pasted and used her blueprint for the mall in a few other of my playthroughs in the past. So I've kind of got that idea sort of embedded in my brain because I've built it 4 or 5 times so far, but I can only remember like the basic idea and the basic layout of it. I can't remember every little thing about where everything was. So I'm going to be doing my own version of Catherine of Sky's Mall. So if you're looking at this and thinking it looks very familiar, then that's the reason. I'm going to have so these belts in the middle are going to be for gears, and we actually need quite a lot of gears, so I'm going to have 6 machines making gears. It's basically going to be 3 machines per belt or something, because that is going to output so these machines are going to output onto this belt, and these machines are going to output onto both belts. So we'll have, and I've also done a little bit of working out that the main ingredients for all of this is going to be iron plate, copper plate, electronic circuits and advanced circuits, which we're not making yet. I think we can make them. We've researched them, but we've just not got the we need to get oil processing set up so we can make these plastic bars. So we can't make them just yet, but they'll be kind of next on the to-do list. So we've got iron plate, copper plate, they can share a belt. Electronic circuits and advanced circuits, they can share a belt. Gear going in the middle. Stone and brick, they can share a belt. They're used later on for what's brick used for? Stone is used for rails. Brick is used for oil refineries. Is that right? Did I put that in the right place? Oil refinery. Yes, stone brick. Look at that. So we'll have a belt of stone and brick, and then we'll have a belt of steel, and later on that can share with pipes, I think. So we might have up to sort of 3 belts on each side. And that's not going to be too bad, I don't think. So let's get, so we're going to have belt of steel and copper. Now let me just move this, let me just temporarily put splitters onto here to output priority to the left. And again, with the, as with the assembly machines, you can shift left click and shift right click to copy the recipes, and all that does is it shifts everything that comes in here, it shifts everything over onto there, and then everything over onto there, and then it all gets out onto this belt first, and then these belts will start filling up as and when this one gets clogged up. So let's work out the best way. There is an easy way of let's go that, go underneath there and come back out. That can go under there and come out over there. And now we have one belt that is half steel, half iron plates and half copper plates, and when that comes back to it there you can see that. So that's like my first belt of ingredients, and then these machines will pick up the iron from there. So these machines need some iron coming in as well. Have I actually done this in the most efficient way possible? Actually, probably not. If I want to achieve the same thing, same effect, I might as well just put that machine, another machine there, and another machine there. Now, what I want to have is these machines filling both sides of the belt, really. What's the best way of doing that? If I have... Let's take that out. Let's put... if I put that in the middle, that will cover just about everything. So that machine outputs onto this side of the belt, and that machine outputs onto the other side of the belt. Well, it will do when I copy and paste the recipe onto there. That's just picking up the wrong thing, so that's going to be there. That works nicely, I think. So what happens if I copy all of that? I won't be able to rotate it. Well, actually, will I? No, I'll just have to rebuild it. Because it's mirrored. I think in the latest version you can mirror blueprints. I'm not running the experimental version at the moment. That doesn't need to have the splitter on there. That can just go straight down into there, and that can go straight up onto there, and then that one can use a splitter to merge onto the belt. Did that not reach all the way over there? Maybe it didn't. It did up there. Are they? Better. So this one now needs some raw materials to work with. So again, we'll do what we did previously. So that is going to go there, and then that is going to be the next level up. So now we've got copper, steel, and gears. So this needs iron and gears. So that needs iron plate and gears. So we can get the gears from there. In fact, it can get the gears from there as well. What we need to do is feed the iron plate down. We'll have the gears going underneath. And that can feed out into a box as well. We're going to need a lot more of these storage boxes. Now this was going to feed into there and there as well, wasn't it? So let's just move that back a little bit, because we can pick up, we take that through there, that can feed in from the underground belt, and then that can also feed out into there. And that needs iron plates as well, so they can get them from there. And where's the best place for it to output? I mean, I could get it to just output going back there, and then that one can just output. I'm just trying to think of sort of how this will fit in with other chests or the other assembly machines further up, and but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So that can feed into there. That needs plates, electronic circuits, and transport belts. So we'll have electronic circuits onto this belt. The way we feed off that is, well, I can just delete these belts. We're not using those at the moment, but if they were being used, I would have to just sort of use undergrounds and just, you know, do something like that, so that that then comes off. And in fact, if I put another belt going back in the other direction, this does what we had before with this just makes sure that only one side of the belt gets filled. That can go. Put it down and then overwrote it. And then when we get to them, we'll have the red circuits on the other side of this belt. So we'll need a long-handled inserter to pick those up. It needs belts as well, and it also needs that goes all the way over to there. That can go to there. Now that has got, it should have all the ingredients. Oh, that is pointing the wrong direction. And we're now making the first 3 items on our mall. So the next 3 items are going to be the same thing but just in red, so they're the next tier up, and each one of those uses the yellow version as an ingredient. So if we have a look at the red belt, it takes 5 iron gear wheels and a transport belt. The red underground, iron gear wheels and a yellow underground, and the red splitter takes gear wheel circuits and a yellow splitter. So we also need to feed these items I think we're going to need, put that there, feed that through an underground belt, and then that can pick up into there. We might have to move that out of the way a little bit. So that's going to be a red underground. So is that is then, yeah, it will feed it through eventually. It doesn't have to be fast as long as it gets there in the end. So that will put to the chest over there, 2 stacks of those. And we'll do something very, very similar. So that can feed into there, that can feed, let's delete those for the time being. That's going to be red belts, that's going to be red splitters. Red belts needs gears and yellow belts, so we can get the gears from there and from there as well. That needs gears, electronic circuits and splitters, so we can get the gears from there, you can get the electronic circuits from there. And it all just needs a bit of power. And we need to output them all somewhere, so that can go out there. I have these power poles set up in the right places. They can power everything without being too crisscrossy. go. And then the other tier is going to be blue, which we haven't researched yet, I don't think. We can't make those, but I know from looking at the wiki that they use basically the same sort of ingredients, but they also use lube as well. So they're going to be assembly machine 2s we're going to need for those. We can't set the recipe yet, but we'll leave that as a placeholder there, and then we'll fill those in. I just hope I'm going to leave myself enough room for that. So that's belt splitters and undergrounds. We're going to have inserters next. So the yellow inserter is used as an ingredient for the red inserter and the blue one. So that's the long handled and the fast inserter. So similar to what we've done here. And we do need some more holes over there. How are these outputs? That's fine, there's no rush. So we'll have a machine over this side there making the yellow inserters. Iron plate, gear wheel, electronic circuits. Ah, we've not got any electronic circuits coming in. Why do we not have electronic circuits coming in? Because we don't have any copper coming into here. Is that because I've just nicked all the copper? Maybe because I've when I reorganized the this area feeding into there, I didn't relink the copper into. So there was a belt going along here for copper and it's no longer feeding it for anything. So let's pick up the copper from somewhere else. Let's get it from here before we actually do anything else with it. So have I got enough room to do anything with that? That will still feed, reach to there. That can come out there, but we won't have enough space to go across. So that one needs to come out to there. That's annoying because I've not got any room left to get this stone to go round the corner. How do we do this? Let's just sort of put that back to where it was before. Let's get this copper then from up there. Feed it back across here. And then it can come down. Back down through there. Back across under there. And we now get copper going back in. Right. I was just thinking, why were those machines not making anything? That's because these belts haven't actually been placed. They were just ghosts. They didn't exist. Those belts all exist. So we're getting some green circuits coming back out onto there. They're going back up here to still make some stuff over that side. But more importantly, they're going up on the belt and coming out over here as well. Now, we don't normally have to worry about items on the mall running out of source materials. As long as there's stuff coming in on the belts, it will eventually get to where it's needed, because it's very, very rare that you're going to be making everything all in one go on the bus, on the mall. So when these items are full, like this one is very nearly full, that will just be feeding into here, and when this one is full, that one will stop as well, and then this one will stop, and then everything will eventually stop when the output chests are full to the required number of slots that we've permitted them to fill up to anyway. And then when these items have finished with their see that one, oh, it's still producing, but in slow, in minimal quantities. Yeah, it's still got 150 of those to make. But as these no longer need to pick items up, then they will work their way further down the belts and be available for other items at the other end to start using. Right. Electronic circuits, iron gear wheel, iron plate. So we'll have the so this needs fast inserter. Also needs iron plate electronic circuits. Red inserter, the long-handed inserter, also needs iron plate and gears. So the same sort of things. I'm just sort of working out so if that all needs iron plate, they can go down that way. So that one doesn't need circuits, that one does, and that one does. Right, so circuits can come up there and they can be picked up with long-handled inserter. That needs plates, gear wheels, and one of those, and that also needs one of those. Output, output, output. Chest, chest, chest. Limit. Limit. I mean, I can change these limits later on, but they're just something. Right, so that will need... Right, it needs iron plate and gear wheels. So we can get the gear wheels from there. We can get the plates from there. That one needs plate and gear wheel as well, so we can get plates from there, gears from there. That one needs plates, so we can get the plates from there. Okay, so we're now making everything that we need. Everything's got... now we're running out of plates. And this is because we've only got one stack of smelters running, and they're feeding out towards the green circuits is using up all the plates. So one smelting array isn't enough to feed what we're using, even what we're using at the moment. In fact, let's just double check the power. Yeah, we're using sort of 2/3 of the power that we're generating, so we're still okay with that for the time being. Right, I've been recording now for about 45 minutes, so that's a good enough place to stop for today. I will build another smelting array off camera, maybe 2. And that should then provide us with plenty of iron to keep this mall fed. See, that one there is starting to... well, that one I'm not really sort of feeding off of anymore, but the one at the top, yeah, everything here is being used up to make the gears, and then there's no plates left. So it may be possible that we have another line coming in, one line of iron just for the gears, and then another line of iron coming in for everything else. But then, you know, once these gears back up to there, and then these plates start filtering their way down to there, it'll start using them in a little bit more of an even, on an, more of an even basis. But even then, we're still going to need a pretty full belt of stuff coming in. Even if it's just half a belt, we need a full half belt. So yeah, this belt here on the mall, on the bus, needs to be full. And it's not quite full coming out of here, so some of these not working properly. It should be full coming out of the top. These belts are pointing in the wrong direction. So I need to double check on all the other blueprints that I've done. See, look, yeah, those belts there, they're pointing the wrong way. So this belt, the number of furnaces I've got here should be filling up this belt. And they are now, because that was actually outputting properly. So as long as this all comes in evenly, that's a full belt coming in. And the way this splitter, you can see the way this splitter is working, because even though this one is the only one that's outputting, it's still drawing from all 4 evenly, because the way this balancer works is that it filters the items sort of 25% or 50% onto each belt, and then refilters them 25% or 50% back out again. So all of these drills at the end, these are all working because all of these belts are being used. In fact, these 3 are empty again now. The ones at the end do get emptied out fairly quickly because the edges of the ore patches are quite light. See, that one's only got 1,400 underneath it, as it says on the right hand side, expected resources. That's only got 1,400, but that's got 15,000, 31,000, 30,000. So once these outer ones get emptied out, the ones in the middle take a little bit longer to empty. But once I've built another one of these arrays, or 2 of these arrays, then all these outputs will be getting used, and it will start running up this these belts a little bit quicker. And it may be the case that we actually start to upgrade these belts to red belts that are a little bit quicker. Certainly, sort of feeding into the balance. So we'll see how well that works. We're not using so much copper at the moment, so that's not been draining any of the miners. So yeah, that's the plan of action before the next episode, is just get some more iron coming in, and then we'll carry on building this mall. There's still quite a lot of the mall to build. We've got to do all the inserters. What else is next on the list? We've got assembly machines, power poles, substations, engine units, pumps, railway equipment, oil refining equipment, all sorts of things. And then we start moving into more late game stuff, where you've got the flying robot frames, construction bots, all the chests that the bots need to use, and then the stuff to make nuclear power plants as well, that can go on the end. And it may be that we have 2 or 3 malls sort of stacked up along here, each one doing, you know, sort of mid-game stuff and then late-game stuff and then whatever. So it doesn't all have to be on the same mall. You can put them wherever you like, really. If it is on the same mall, you just find you have to run up and down it further to pick all the equipment. But eventually, when we get the logistics robot sorted out, you can set something in here to say, you can put a request in here for an item. Alright, your chest, and it says your inserters, and it says, I want to have at least 50 inserters on my inventory all the time. So as soon as you have less than 50, a logistics bot will go to a chest and bring you some more. And if you set this down to 0, it means I don't want to have any inserters on me at any time. So as soon as you pick one up, a logistics bot will come along and take it away from you and put it back into storage. So you can keep your inventory quite organised by saying, I don't want to have any copper ore on me, I don't want to have any iron ore, I don't want to have any stone or wood. And they'll take it away. And if you've got any request a chest late set up, like for the wood, you can have a chest requesting wood, but will then feed it back into the into your power supply. So as soon as you chop down a tree, a logistics bot will come along, pick up the wood, put it in a request a chest, and it just disappears back onto wherever you've sent it to go after that. So this is now evened out a little bit. We're now getting the iron plates coming into here because some of these items are full now. That's getting there. That's full. So these aren't drawing on the gears. So there's more gears making it to the end. These red belts take a lot of gears, I think. That takes 5. That takes 40. So that's draining all the gears at the moment. But again, that's made 46. When it's made another 54, that'll be full, and then a lot more gears will get to the end, and then these items will start getting made again. So it's fine, it's working. It doesn't have to be mega hugely efficient. It just has to mean that, you know, when you need to pick up 50 belts or 100 inserters or whatever, then they're all there for you when you need them. So on that note, I've been waffling a little bit. I will leave it there for today, and we'll see you again next time.